Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to consider that the greatest obstacle to your growth may not be what you don't know, but what you think you already know. Today, I'm here to talk about something that is as ancient as it is revolutionary, as challenging as it is liberating, and as personal as it is universal. Join me as I uncover the art of unlearning. Let me start by telling you a short story. When I was 12, my grandmother handed me a small red cloth pouch. Inside this pouch was not just fabric, but a set of unspoken rules, things I was forbidden from doing during my periods. This red pouch carried the weight of generations, things that even my grandmother had learned when she was 12. Don't enter the kitchen during your periods. Don't touch pickles. Don't go to the temple. And don't talk about it. These weren't just rules, but they were chains, silent, unquestioned, and passed down for generations. Until one day, something extraordinary happened. After attending a few sessions on menstrual health, my grandmother learned that periods aren't impure or anything to be ashamed of. They are a God-given sign of maturity. And in her time, when access to proper hygiene was limited, all of these restrictions made sense, but they didn't really hold any purpose anymore. So, she decided to fracture a lineage of silence. She sat me down, looked me in the eyes, and said words that would reverberate through my family's future. Bhakti, the rules I taught you, they end with me. That is the power of unlearning. But thank God she did not unlearn how to make her amazing laddus. Today in my speech, I am going to be talking about 4 key concepts. Firstly, why is unlearning biologically difficult? Secondly, 3 steps to becoming a better unlearner. Thirdly, everyday examples of unlearning that you can start practicing today. And fourthly, why unlearning matters now more than ever. So why is unlearning so difficult? It is because of a phenomenon in our neural architecture called the confirmation bias. We seek information that confirms what we already know, even if it no longer holds truth. I want you to consider this example. When you form an impression of someone before meeting them, you subconsciously filter their behavior to confirm that preconception. If you have decided that someone is unfriendly, a nervous smile will be interpreted as a dismissive smirk, or hesitation to converse as deliberate rudeness. Confirmation bias is our body's defense mechanism against the discomfort of learning something that contradicts what we already know. In order to overcome this, we need to get comfortable with cognitive dissonance, that unsettling feeling when you learn something different than what you have always known is not something to be afraid of. It is something that is in itself a sensation of growth. I want you to consider your mind like a bookshelf. If you believe that the earth is flat, you will only place books on the shelf that support that idea. Anything that disregards it will be discarded before the book is even opened. Now, next, 3 steps to becoming a better unlearner. These 3 steps are something which I call the dance of growth. The first step is willingness to learn new things. Are you ready to learn something new, something more exciting? Serena Williams herself had to learn 2 new tennis service techniques before she became unbeatable. A small tip to achieve this is to shift your mindset from thinking, I may be wrong, to thinking, they or something else may be right. This small but subtle wordplay can play a big role in parking your ego because no one likes to think that they are wrong. Secondly, the ability to loosen your grip on your existing beliefs. I want you to touch the two sides of your chairs with your palm. Touch it, feel its edges, feel the texture. Now, without removing your hand from the two sides of the chair, I want you to place your palm on the chair in front of you. Impossible, right? But if you were to loosen your grip on one side of the chair, you would extend your reach dramatically. Unlearning works the same way. You need to loosen your grip on what you know to discover what could be. You don't need to completely abandon your beliefs. It just means you need to hold your beliefs with open palms rather than clenched fists. And you don't even need to erase your belief, you can just modify it. Old methods are foundations, not cages. Third step is the courage to ask, but why? Are you ready to ask powerful questions that may temporarily put you in a web of uncertainty, but eventually lead to something greater? The question, but why, is what the most transformative leaders in society have asked themselves. It is what reshapes societies and redirects the course of human development. Like my grandma, many of us have beliefs that aren't truly ours. They are inherited. But unless we choose to break the chains of silence, unless we choose to break the tradition, we risk passing the outdated belief to the next generation as well. Consider Galileo challenging why we believe that the earth was flat, or Malala challenging why girls shouldn't receive the same level of education as boys. Unlearning is something really beautiful in itself. Because even when one person decides to question the why, they are not just changing their own lives. They are rewriting the stories that will be told for years to come. When you ask the question, but why, you are not just challenging isolated beliefs. You are challenging systems of thoughts. We live in a world that isn't defined by certainty, but by possibility. And those who think beyond accepted boundaries are the ones that history remembers. They understand that in a world filled with infinite complexities, there are more dimensions to your beliefs than what you think they are. Now, I'm going to give 3 examples of unlearning that you can implement in your daily life. Firstly, unlearning in your relationships. Sometimes you may need to unlearn how you love someone if they would prefer another form of affection. Or unlearn loving someone altogether if the relationship is not good for you. Secondly, unlearning in your personal life. Understand that no child is born thinking that they're not enough. Self-limiting beliefs and scarcity mindsets are learned. They are not innate. The question becomes, why do I think of myself this way? If you reflect, you will trace it back to a bully or a teacher in high school, or perhaps it was your parents. Thirdly, unlearning in your professional life. As artificial intelligence emerges, it becomes increasingly necessary for us to open our mind to new and more effective ways of unleashing our productivity and creativity. Unlearning is also something that is mentioned in our scriptures. It's mentioned in the Bible and in the Gita. In the Gita, Lord Krishna asks Arjuna, I want you to unlearn everything that you know about me so I can teach you who I am. Now let's go back to that red pouch. We all carry similar pouches of tradition, culture, and fear, filled with inherited beliefs about success, relationships, gender, and self-worth. The question isn't whether we have these pouches. The question is, what will we do with them? Will we pass them on unchanged? Or will we have the courage to open the pouch, examine the contents, and decide what deserves to be carried forward? Unlearning is not about forgetting. It's about choosing. Choosing which beliefs will shape us. Choosing which stories will define us. And choosing to break chains of silence that have bound generations. On the ride home today, I want you to think about what you can unlearn, whether it be in your personal life, professional life, or regarding a relationship. And seek out voices that challenge your assumptions. Read books by authors whose life experiences differ dramatically from yours. And engage in conversations with people whose worldview contrasts from what you think. And most importantly, make sure to laugh along the way. Thank you.